Hi all my patrons, thank you very much for your continued support. I really appreciate your kind support and kind questions, comments, encouraging words. Thank you very much. So we are going to talk about tone production. Tone production is something that we have to constantly work on, and no matter what level we are, it's something constantly, it comes back to us and hunt us. It was sounding good last week, but somehow today it doesn't sound good. It was sounding okay yesterday, but somehow today it doesn't. And you practice and practice, you're wondering why does it sometimes sound good, sometimes doesn't. Even though we would like to think it's maybe sometimes something to do with the instrument and bow. And there's some small percentage that one too, but many times, not all the time, but most of the times we can fix it with a proper bow control or proper bow technique. So I'm going to show you 5 steps and then you can check to improve your sound pretty quickly. Let's start. Number 1, bow grip. Let's check your bow grip. Make sure that you can curve all your fingers in a flexible way and then straighten that way. So just like any part of the arm, just like shoulder, elbow, the wrist, the finger joint has to be as flexible as it could. So let's review the basics. We place a thumb between the frog and the leather on the side like that. And then 2 middle fingers, ring finger and middle finger has to go grab deeply. Yeah. And the index finger has to create a little hook, because this will be driving, this is a function that will be guiding the bow. Yeah? And then that's the one that applies the weight as well. The pinky most likely goes a little in the back because it's a little short. Most of bow has a little edgier, little octagonal shape. Even if this part is round, you should have a little octagonal shape there, which will allow the pinky to sit a little in the back. It's very important the pinky is sitting at the tip, so that the function of the pinky is to balance the bow this way. It's very few function that the pinky has. That's first thing. Another thing that you have to remember, just like when we walk, we don't walk stiff body, but we kind of flexibly move our body as you walk along. Same thing goes. As the bow travels, the bow grip also changes depending what part of your bow it is. So let's start from the tip. When you're at the tip, your thumb and the pinky is straight, because actually the pinky has no function of it. You sometimes see some violinists even lift up the pinky. It has almost no function at the tip. Index finger has to grab well. Index finger is the one that stays pretty much unchanged any part of the hand. But other than index finger, the rest fingers or rest hand changes. So here at the tip, as you go up, when you look at the finger joint, my pinky and the thumb gets curved as I go towards a frog. As I go away from the trough, it gets flat again. Yeah, just so that you know. So that's a very important thing. So first know a good grip. Make sure the index finger is well wrapped like that, and pinky in the back. And just remember, at the tip, pinky and the thumb is straight. At the front, pinky and the thumb is curved. Yeah. Why do we do that? Because near the frog, that leads to point 2. Near the frog, there's a lot of parts. It's very heavy. So when we do nothing, I'm sure it's not like that, but it gets very heavy. So now, when we curve our pinky, what we do is we also raise our wrist. By doing that, we're literally taking the weight off, kind of scooping out. Yeah, and by doing that, also we're turning our hand a tiny bit, rotating a bit, tilting the bow so that we use less hair. Not complete hair, but when you pull hair on the side, that makes the bow lighter to keep the sound nicer. Like that, yeah? So, there's also a little elbow movement happens, but let me show you. So first, I start from the tip. When I'm in the middle, my elbow comes up just a little, and it stops. Now elbow stop moving up. Now the wrist plays an important role. Now the wrist has to come up. What we're doing is we're trying to take the weight off the bow. It then allows the pinky pinky and the thumb to curve. Yeah, then now wrist comes down, elbow comes down slightly, but not too much, just a little. Then it stops, then opens up. Yeah. So now here we have to make sure that near the frog, the heavy part, we need to raise our wrist up and then turn our bow a bit, or turn our hand, rotate a bit so that we tilt that bow to make the bow light, like this. Now, number 3, contact point. Another thing that we often forget, because there's so many things going on, we're focusing on the left and we're focusing on the slur and things like that, and you forget to check that where the bow hair is touching, which we call the contact point. Common mistake we do is, as we go higher, place more finger, we bring the bow closer to the bridge, therefore gets a little squeaky. We all been there, it all happens to us. So just by simply looking, making yourself stop and checking and bringing your bow away, it helps. So now here, now if you feel like you heard something, watch and then move it. Just make yourself move your contact point away from the bridge. There's a great exercise you can do, just open string. Start contact point closer to the bridge and away from the bridge and close again. Just training yourself that you can adjust the contact point as you play. Away, close, away, close, away, and so on. Yeah, just to create that kind of reaction. Now, elbow height. Elbow height is particularly important. Let's say you're playing such as Beethoven Minuet. Here, so a lot of violinists have a hard time because we're so busy with all these different, a lot of notes, staccato, upward staccato, and string crossing, because I mean, I don't blame you, there's so many things going on, so we forget when we change string, we have to change the elbow height. Make sure your right elbow is higher, because when you're playing D string, and then low again, and then high again for D string. How do we train that one? You have to pause and manually order right elbow, how much to be raised and how much to be lower, like this. Raise, stop, 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 stop. Notice I am adjusting my right elbow height as soon as I pause it. I do not pause and wait. That defeats the purpose. So because ultimately that we want to get rid of the pause. So what you use a pause and then adjust the right elbow height at the end of the previous note or as soon as the pause happens. Already raised, lowered, already raised, already lowered. I'm exaggerating to make a point. Once you've trained that one, your right elbow has learned how to be ready ahead, and it will know how to get the right height so that you can produce beautiful sound. Now last one. Let's say you know how to keep the contact point away from the bridge. You know how to do elbow height, but somehow it sounds too thin. So let's say the beginning of the same Beethoven Minuet. But somehow you sound a little, it's a little too weak or shaky or something like that. How do we control it? And this is something that you have to train to apply the bow weight properly. It's important to know how to play beautiful soft sound, controlled way if you want it, but it's also important to know how to produce fuller tone. And that's when it comes to portato sound. Portato sound is you make a half circle downwards like this, and then you do the same thing on open string, which means create a very light and soft bow and gradually get heavier faster and get soft and light again and up bow. Yeah, creating this kind of swelling tone. And then here you would do and then gradually you reduce the amount that you lighten the bow. That way you keep the sound fuller. Yeah. So there was 5 quick tips that you can try yourself to improve your sound. And of course, like any technique, it takes a little more than just a couple tries to improve it, but surely these will make your sound get better. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again. Happy practicing. Bye bye.